It's recording, right? I can see. I can hear the recording progress. Right. Then again, do join us in the Telegram, Twitter, Discord, Instagram. Any questions, you can just type in this chat or anywhere. We have a lot of social media. So we can start, recorded, good, paste the link. So welcome to InterviewReady series number 3, system design. I am Anne, an evangelist at Women Who Code, a software engineer and your host for today. So what is Women Who Code? Our mission is to inspire women to excel in technological careers. And our vision is a world where women are representatives as tech executives, founders, VCs, board members, and of course, software engineers. So what is InterviewReady series? So it's started by our director, Saloni, who is also here with us, hiding in the audience. So preparing an interview is overwhelming and we often need like 3 months to get ready for an interview. And if we are not happy at our workplace, we often continue to stay because getting interview is scary. So the solution is to always be interview ready. And we can do this by sharing tips, tricks on how to prepare for an interview from our fellow women who are knowledgeable in different domains so that we can be on top of things together. So today we have Joyce, senior software engineer at Zendesk, my brilliant colleague, as our guest to walk us through system design interview. Woo. Okay, hello Joyce. Please give us a short introduction about yourself and tell us what you do at work.
Yeah, thanks for your warm welcome. And yeah, so I'm Joyce. I'm a software engineer at Zendesk. So what I do on a day-to-day basis is to build features for our software itself, which is the agent workspace. Then what I like about my work, I guess, is the people that I get to work with. They are really brilliant people, like Anne over here. Yeah, so in terms of, they are not just like very work-oriented people, they are also very people-oriented, such that other than work, we get to talk about other things as well. So yeah, so enjoying working to find the things I do. Yeah.
Very nice intro. So the $1 million question, what is system design? Is Joyce still here?
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, so yeah. Okay, so system design basically is regarding like what we are looking out for in system design is actually the architecture of software that you are building, or like for example the question you are building. What we are looking out for is like for example what kind of technology you choose and what's the reasoning behind of the technologies that you choose. So as the word suggested, system is about like the technology, the tech stack, the architecture that you choose and how you design it. Like where do you put all these different technology in place such that you will have you'll solve a business issue or business problem. Yeah.
Very good. Well, I'm hearing a bit of sharp pitch. I wonder if you can hear there's a B. Does the audience hear the B sound?
Maybe it's my earpiece.
Okay, we hold on to it. Okay, let's hope this will be okay. Okay, okay, that's a very good. Oh, yeah, people are hearing it. I'm sorry, Joyce. Faster, turn down your piece. It's like a knowledge with pain. But it's really tiny, I think. It's still bearable.
Sorry for my earpiece.
But it's okay now. Okay, we will bear with it. Okay, then the next question, a very amazing answer. The next question is, who does system design interview?
I would say who does system interview. As long as you're a software engineer, be prepared to do system design interview. And then as long as you are someone who wants to work in the IT industry, to be prepared for it. And yeah, it's not something very frightful. If you do more practice for it, you'll get used to the momentum of it. Then you eventually will understand that, oh, system design, these are the requirements, and you can answer it more confidently. Yeah.
Yeah, agree. And I think it's more expected by senior role where they want to test whether you know more than just implementation, but and see the higher picture. So finally, how do you do system design interview? So we will show you right now. I'll be the interviewer and Joyce will be the interviewee. We can start now. So today's question would be to design TikTok. So here's the link to the design diagram app. You may start anytime. I can see that you are there.
Okay, can you see I'm inside this system design right now. So at the start of the system design, maybe this is about designing TikTok. So to be honest, I haven't used TikTok before. So maybe we'd like to find out more what is TikTok about. I really don't have TikTok. I'm serious about it. Yeah. So maybe we'd like to share what is TikTok. Yeah.
Sure. TikTok is a very popular app right now. It's a video sharing app. So you can view videos by scrolling, and then you can also follow people and like, comment, share the videos.
Okay, I see. So it's like Instagram?
Yeah, it's very similar to Instagram, but there's only video, there's no photos.
Okay. So maybe that's the generic idea of what is TikTok. So maybe my next question will be to clarify, like, what are some of the high level view of what we will see in TikTok?
Okay, so TikTok, I will say you can upload a video. You can view some video feeds. So when you scroll, there's a lot of videos to watch. And then you can follow users who post videos. You can also perform actions on a video. For example, you can like it. You can share the video link with your friends.
Share video. Okay, so since this is related to system design, I'll assume it's not about like the UX experience, the UI front-end experience of it. So what we'll focus on in this interview itself will be on the backend infrastructure. Would that be fine?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay. Now let us gather some of the functional requirements and non-functional requirements so that we can have an idea of what we are trying to build. So maybe for the functional requirements, since we talk about video, so we'd like to check, like, for example, for each video, how long it will last. But maybe is it like 1 minute, 1 hour, 2 hours, or just a few seconds?
No, that's too long. So I think the max is 1 minute. Yeah, max is 1 minute. So we can assume around 10 to 30 seconds for most of the videos.
Okay. Then since we talk about following users and we can share the video, so I'm assuming that the video, there will be some description information inside. So for example, there will be text or text also as well.
Yeah, sounds great. So we can assume there is the video can have description that contains tag and also have text. Yes. I think we can focus on these two for now.
Okay, so then I guess when we are trying to aggregate the videos, is it like the video feeds that you have mentioned just now? So for example, is it like where are all these videos from? Is it like from just the video that I view, or it can be from anywhere, or it's recommended?
It could be anywhere. So it can be a recommended feed. Any users that's using post, you can just see through your feed. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe one more question will be like, so when we look at videos, for example, I'm trying to associate with like Snapchat and Instagram, this kind of apps. So for example, can we like comment, like, and favorite those videos?
Yeah, you can comment, like, favorite those videos. Yeah, these three are good points.
All right then. So now once we have all this information, so maybe we check about some of the non-functional requirements. Okay, so let's move on to the non-functional requirements aspect of it. So I assume that since this is a video viewing kind of ad, then the availability of it must be quite high. So at least to be at least 99% of it. So the downtime of it will be not be very high because everybody will wish to like view this video anytime, anywhere they are interested. Can we say that?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Then we leave like, for example, 1% of the room for like, for example, budgeting, or maybe sometimes there's maintenance period. So it will be that period that it is hard to access this particular app. Okay, so the next will be like, for example, I'm assuming that since the video will be watched regularly, sometimes it's I watch the video again. So I would suggest that for the latency aspect of it, maybe there will be some caching mechanism.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, then the last question maybe I can ask about is like, how many users are we looking out for?
We can look at probably 1 million active users in a day.
That's a lot of users in a day.
Yeah, I mean, in real life, it's more than 1 million. But keep it simple,
Okay.
we'll keep with 1 million.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now I'll make some assumption of this design, this system itself. So do correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm assuming the video size is about 5 MB, and then each users maybe, if like for example I want to upload a video, is about 2 videos per day.
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
assume
so
that.
okay, that is still fine. I think 2 videos per day for users. Okay, then I will assume that for the metadata is, like for example, those tags, those information will about 1K per user per day. Would that be fine?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Okay, so now we have all these assumptions, we have all these requirements written down. Let us start with the design part of it. Okay, so maybe for the design part of it, we can start with how is the upload video flow be like, since it's one of our requirements over here. Okay, so let us get started. So assuming that we have an upload video flow API. Okay, so this is the upload video. So from the upload video, we will need to access the database itself. So from the database, let us start designing what is the table for the upload video will look like. So for the user table itself.
Okay, can I pause you for a while here?
Mm.
Because I'm hearing the sound. Is it fine if we don't use the earpiece and just use the computer
okay.
sound? Maybe try it, and then the audience, is it painful, or we can try, or is bearable? I just want to make sure that everyone is okay with the sound.
Is it better now? Sorry. Does it sound better now? Or is
What about
my
the
voice too?
what about the others? What do you think? Do you prefer the previous one or current one?
I can try the earpiece, another earpiece.
Yeah, do you have another earpiece? I'm sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, because we have some time.
Okay. Wait, let me set up my the earpiece.
Sorry about that. Thank you. The rest, you can comment. Let me know if the previous one is okay for all of you. We can resume. I just want to make sure that you're hearing the content without too much sound problem or noise. Yeah, you speak more.
Can you hear me?
think-
Do I need to shout?
Yeah, I think this one will not have the P, but it sounds better. What about the rest? Saloni, can you hear? Do you prefer this one or the previous one? Sound very soft. So the previous one is better. Right. Intro a bit today because my earpiece is a little wonky too. Oh, intro, which part of the intro? Like the entire intro? For Nico? Okay, I can go back to the intro later on. For Joyce, okay, let's hear your voice a while more. If not, we can go back to the previous.
Can you all hear me
Yeah.
now better? Is it better now?
Design. Yeah, I can hear you. Just a bit soft, but at least you don't have the
Okay.
P sound.
Sorry, my earpiece is trying to be funny.
No problem. Just now it was fine. You just, I think it's very new.
Okay,
Well,
so maybe
so-
I'll try to like speak louder. Will that
Yeah.
help? It's still soft. Oh dear.
I think it sounds better without earpiece. So people are saying it sounds better without earpiece.
Oh, okay. I need to move my earpiece.
Okay, at least we get the audience talking. Everyone's talking. Yeah. Okay, without earpiece.
Okay.
Oh, so
now.
this is possibly what would happen during interview as well. That your piece sound and then interviewer asks you, why is that P?
Yeah.
So you have to be ready with multiple your piece, I guess.
I think that's so funny that advice. Yeah, but it's good to be prepared for interview. To know
Yeah,
how-
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, better. Like I'm just
This
like
is- Without earpiece is loud. So I think it's good. Everyone's
it
then
is
let's
too
try.
low. It's too low. No, like yeah. Okay. Shall we continue then?
Yes, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for that. Thanks, Joyce.
Everyone
All right,
listening.
sorry to interrupt. You can resume your upload video and I will repeat the intro Nico later on. Let's finish
Okay.
this first.
So yeah, okay. So from what we are talking about is upload. So from upload video itself, we will be connecting to a backend database. So when we are connecting to a backend database, we will have some designs for the database itself. So let us get started with the design for it. So when we try to upload video, let's see, there will be a user for the database because each video belongs to one user. So inside the user table, we can imagine that maybe there's a user ID. So most likely it will be an integer, which is a unique ID to identify the user themselves. And then there will be a video link, which is related to the video itself, which is the string. Then the metadata, which is also a string for now. Okay, so this will be our user table. Is it right that I assume it looks like this?
It looks good to me.
Okay. Then this will be our table itself. So I will also pull out the database, which looks like this. This will be the database. Okay, so how it will flows, I will imagine there will be, oh, sorry, just not forget to clarify, is the TikTok we are talking about is the mobile app, right? The mobile app. Not
Yeah, you can
Mhm.
assume it's mobile app.
Okay, can. Okay, so if it's a mobile app, then we will be a mobile app that will be calling the endpoint. So it's a mobile app. Let me shift my components a bit. So this is a mobile app. This will be the database. And then the communication will start when the mobile app is calling the upload video API application. Okay, so what we will do is most likely we can do a post request to the particular application, and then the application layer will make a communication to the database endpoint. Yeah. So it will be a post request, which is a HTTP RESTful request. And yeah, that is the direction that we are going. So the end users will call the upload video, which is called this one. Then after that, we'll make a post request, and the database, we will store it in the storage, as well as we will also call the storage layer, which is like maybe Amazon. yeah, then we can have a cloud service to store the data, the block data. So like for example, S3 Amazon to store the data.
Yep.
Okay. So this will be how the upload video flow will looks like. Are there any things needs clarifications or it's good?
It looks good to me.
Okay. Then after that is okay. So now we are designing the database itself. Now maybe we can go into like okay. So for the database itself, maybe one explanation I can go for is like what's the difference between like what's the difference between a relational database and a non-SQL database. So when to use a relational database, I would say that if, for example, if you have a structured data and then your data doesn't change frequently, this is when we use a relational database and we need a certain degree of like, for example, the data integrity and the security of it. This is when we will use relational. And when we need to use non-SQL, it's like for scalability. And then it will definitely be faster because it's less structured as compared to SQL, the name itself. Yeah. So this is some of the difference between the two. And then, for example, next we will try to design the view feed flow. Okay, so now we have already done with the upload video and everyone is okay with it. Then we will proceed with the view feed. Okay, so view feed. Okay, so for the view feed video part of it, I'm assuming that we will also be accessing the database itself. So what I can say is that when we are building a video feed, just now we are talking about latency and caching. So I guess we can have a caching mechanism in our design such that we will cache the feed so that in the future, like for example, this is a feed that I have seen before. I do not need to go all the way to the database to retrieve it. I can just like basically go to this cache itself, retrieve the data. Then after that, we'll pass back this cache information back to the user. So I would say I will drag out something like this. So instead of directly just communicating with the database, I check with the cache first. If my data is inside the cache, before I check with if the cache is not, the data is not inside, then I will directly go to the database to fetch the information. Okay. Then I would say, okay, so I would say also this mobile app will be the one that is communicating with this view feed. So this will be, the mobile app will be directly communicating with this application layer itself, to the cache itself, then to the database. All right, next we will be saying, is it okay with this flow? So is
So far so good. Yeah.
Okay, good. Next is, let's see, what are the features we still have? So we have upload video, we have talked about viewing the video feeds. Next, maybe we can talk more about the users, like the activity flow part of it, like how the users interact with the various videos. So what I would say is also another application layer itself. So for example, this one, so the user activity. Yeah, so the user activity itself is mostly we will be connecting, we will be reaching out to the database for the informations. Then after that, because it's user activities and we just not only have one table related to the user, so maybe we can add more table to it. So for example, we can have a user activity table. Then after that, what kind of information we can see inside is, for example, like following, and it's a foreign key to the other users. And also, like for example, the like is also a foreign key that is pointing to other users as well. Yeah, so this is the generic idea that we have for our user activities. So similarly, the mobile app will be also be calling it. So let me zoom out a bit. Okay, so I'll pull this. So So this will be also calling this. So, okay. So this is like a general, like a very basic idea of how like the mobile app interacts with the application layers. The application layers interact with the various backend services, like for example, the database, the Amazon, the data, like for example, the block data, as well as the cache. So this is what I assume our system design fundamentally will looks like. Do you feel that there's any additional things that we can add on to this? Like
Yeah,
for
so
example,
far,
not for, yeah.
for example,
Any specific thing that I missed out or anything you're looking out for in this design?
I think so far the high level explanation is good. And you mentioned about caching. So I'm curious what would happen or what would be the bottleneck of the system if you were to 10x the traffic. So you have so many services doing so many things. So what if we have like, how do you scale this system?
Okay, that's a good question because we have like 1 million active users, which is quite a lot, as in not just like 10 small users like that, we have 1 million users. So if 10 times of the traffic, that would be like a lot of the users as well. So one suggestion I can suggest is maybe we can use like services like CDN, Cloud Delivery Network. So this will basically help us to direct we will route to the closest traffic, and then it will help us in terms of like, for example, to find the region that is the most closest to us, such that it reduces the latency for us to receive the information. So where I say it will be in this whole diagram is that, okay, so maybe let me remove all these lines. I will say that I'll put a CDN layer over here. Okay, then after that, this mobile app will go through this CDN layer. CDN will be the one that is routing it to the closest traffic. So for example, it will help us to do this routing. Yeah, so this will help us to, in terms of like the experience wise, if like, for example, if it's a regional app that I, for example, in a different region from you, like for example, maybe you're in Singapore, I'm in Europe, this CDN will help us to route us to the closest available region for us to access the data faster. Yeah. Okay, so maybe if we are talking about CDN, maybe we will also can talk about load balancing itself as well. So load balancing is also in terms of like, it's also help to share the burden in terms of like routing, like for example, if they realize that this particular region is like heavy intense, like for example, a lot of traffic, then it will help us to balance this kind of situation. So I'll recommend maybe adding a load balancer as well. Then in this case, it will not like, in the event that there's any kind of like region that is very traffic intense, then the load balancer also have to manage this kind of situations. Yeah, so this is what I can think of right now in terms of like for multi-regions, as well as to reduce the latency of the overall system architecture.
Okay, now what I see is the load balancer is pointing to one view feed, one user activity. Like, how does the load balancer distribute the load?
Okay, so what I understand is, because to be honest, I don't really work on load balancer itself, but what I heard about load balancing is helps to, in terms of like when doing deployment, it helps to reduce the zero downtime. It helps to flip the traffic, like for example, when you are serving the traffic and then this particular instances is down already, it will try to redirect it from like traffic A to traffic B, such that it will not impact like if there's any service that is downtime, it will like route it to the next available traffic. Yeah.
That's correct. That's correct. So it's actually just having like multiple instances of the same service. So you have like view feed. So I can imagine it's just like, I try to paste, I can't paste. So it'll be like multiple view feed. So the load balancer will actually go to the view feed. So there will be like different instances. So I can't copy paste.
Yeah, you can
Right.
copy.
But okay, I get a point. And good point on the zero downtime. Kind of flipping the traffic. So while you're updating. Sounds good to me.
Okay,
So
so
you have mentioned CDN load balancer. What about database?
database. I would say we can perform, like example, we can scale out our database, like in terms of like we can have multiple database, or else we can include like things like sharding or clustering. These kind of things will help to in terms of like we have multiple database. For example, if like there's backup of information of data, like the replication of data, like for example, this database is down, we can use the next available database to get the information. So in terms of database, I guess these are some of the technologies out there that allow us in terms like if a database is down, there are other databases that can be able to access the information.
Interesting. Yep, that's one valid point on scaling database.
Yep.
Okay. So I think I covered almost everything. Do we have any last thing to add before we wrap up the session?
I would say that this is a very high level overview of how TikTok will be. I believe TikTok has their very comprehensive designs and reliability, scalabilities, as well as I would say that TikTok also have their own algorithms. Like for example, there'll be this algorithm to introduce what kind of feeds or what kind of videos that we should share for a particular users. So this is definitely not covered within this system design that I have just shown on the screen itself. So what I would say that there will always be room for improvement, and definitely if like we get to understand how their algorithms and works and everything, we can include it in the system design like going forward. Yeah.
Okay, it's awesome. It's good to read. Yeah. So I think this is amazing and covers everything, including scalability, latency. So cool. I guess that's the end of the system design interview, the mock system design interview we have. So if you have any questions, like it's time to ask. Oh, I saw a very long paragraph. Hi, Joyce and Anne. Thank you so much for this demo. It was very interesting to watch from a third-party point of view. Question. Oh, very nice question. Are there any key points we can take note of as interviewees? Example questions that we would definitely be asked, or things that we must address when explaining our thought process. Also, is SD interviews, system design interviews common for front-end software engineers? Jaylin. Hi, Jaylin. Joyce, you want to answer which question?
Okay, so I would say for key points wise is the most important part of it is when you start the system design is to be very clear clarification at the start, like the requirements of it, like what is expected of the system design. For example, sometimes maybe you are thinking of something very complicated or you need to have many technologies behind, but at the end of the day, maybe the interviewer is just looking out for something simple. Like for example, could you design a login system? So this is a very fundamental kind of design, but then you just need to clarify with I would say the interviewer, like what is required, so that we don't design something that is very complicated or something that is maybe down the line that you will find it hard to explain as well. Yeah. Maybe you want to take the
Definitely. Yeah. And to add on to a point, you see just now I say so many things. I said upload videos, video feed, follow users, share, link, comments. There's so many things you cannot possibly finish them in one session. So what Joyce did is to just pick up the important points, ask if I'm okay. And I said, yeah, these 3 points is good enough to demonstrate the system design interview requirements. So yeah, I think that's a very good to narrow down what you want to tackle on. Don't just do everything. The next question is what we would definitely be asked and things we must address when explaining our thought process. So if you listen to what Joyce said just now, I think a very good point, what she did well is how she just say everything without me prompting. For example, he come out with upload videos, link to database, and then how she just mentioned what kind of database structures. I think the next question will be relevant. So there'll be relational, non-relational, NoSQL. She prompt herself, and when whatever you mention, it will be questioned. So I think previously when we were rehearsing, she mentioned something about get post request, and I questioned her on that, like why do you want post? I think just now I didn't because maybe because I was answered before I forgot to ask. But whatever you say, be sure that the interviewer will ask on that. Like if you say load balancer, okay, explain more about load balancer. If you say about maybe Kubernetes, okay, what do you know about Kubernetes? Like be prepared to be asked on whatever you mentioned before. So and if you just cover all the points, it shows that you are very well prepared. And what kind of key points to take note, like functional, non-functional requirements. She covered that really well, the first two estimations. And then what CDN, load balancer, database. I think this, we can also go on to the next question is system design interview common for front end? Joyce, is it common for front end developers?
I would say, from my experience, if you are interviewing for software engineers, and if you are applying for senior software engineer, most likely they will ask you for system designs. It could be like, for example, system design, like for example, just now that kind of question, like design a systems, then after that, how do I say? Yeah, if for front end wise, I think it's good to clarify with the HR itself. Like for example, whoever reach out to you, like whether there will be a system design interview. Then this is also good in terms of like you find out more about the interview before you go into the interview. Yeah, because sometimes there may be system design, there may be sometimes more like UX designs kind of interview. So companies different from company to company. So it's best to clarify before your interviews.
Yes, definitely. I think when you get a not offer but interview, they will actually tell you what are they looking out for. Like, is this a coding interview? Just or is it behavior, or is it a system design? They'll actually tell you and warn you beforehand so that you are more prepared, because they want to help you. And instead of front end, back end, I think it's more of the title as well. Normally, senior role would have system design interview. I think, like for junior or normal, previously I don't have system design, so I just do front end questions, coding questions everywhere. But system is more towards more senior role. So front end senior role might have, I think, but it depends on the company. You should totally ask them. They will tell you. Okay, does that explain the questions? Thank you, Kelly, no problem. Okay, we go to the next one. Saloni, I missed which type of DB did Joyce choose? Relational, NoSQL, why? Aha, you can repeat a point.
Okay, I would say this was prepared. So I would say that what was missing is relational database. So the reason for it is what we understand of relational database is for change frequently. So there's a high degree of integrity and security, and does not have those kind of scale-up capabilities. For NoSQL wise, as the name suggests, NoSQL, so that means there are no structures for it. So in terms of like the development wise, will be faster for as compared to SQL. And then but the control of the structure of the data will be more flexible than compared to the SQL counterpart. Yeah.
I can add on as well. I was looking into database type, MySQL, NoSQL. I asked my colleague, Joyce also knows him. So what's the difference? Why do you choose this and that? So, and then is it because of scalability, security? So actually, are both scalable, secure. I think it's more of the requirement. So you choose relational. So you can have like user table, you can have video table. No SQL, like what Joyce mentioned, no structures. You can, it's more flexible, but at the end, it's really depend on the use case. For example, if my use case is or requirement is to have to store different response shape. So like NoSQL database will be more useful because I can just have different key value and then store them. So I don't have to enforce it to a relational database. And then, so up the end, it's really depend on the requirement and which one is more, which one makes more sense. So both are actually good, in my opinion. But in this case, we can clearly see the connection of the user table and the video table, which is really good to illustrate the point. So yeah, the next, does that answer your question? I also trying to learn as much database as I want. Okay, the next one will be how CDN helps. Joyce. Actually, Joyce mentioned this.
It's okay, no worries. It's some technologies that will come across often when we are doing development. So CDN is the route to the closest traffic. So for example, when you're trying to, for example, if you're in a different region from where the database is, what I understand of CDN is that, for example, they will try to find the server that is closest to you, and then they will try to route those data. They will have like replicas of the data, then they will try to route that data that is closest to your region, so that in terms of latency wise, it will be greatly reduced. Yeah, rather than like, for example, if sorry.
No, continue, sorry.
So for example, if you are not very close to the data center of where your data reside, like for example, maybe the data is reside all the way in Europe, then for example, this CDN will help you to route it to the closest traffic, maybe in the Asia specific one, so that you get faster access to the data.
Yeah, CDN, this one you say cloud content delivery network. Now it's content delivery network.
Sorry.
So yeah, like, should I say? But this is something very small. Yeah, what you say is good, is to reduce response time, reduce latency, because it brings it's cache nearer to you. So the next user that uses it, like so fast, it's already there. Very nice. Oh, okay, so many questions, very nice. Should we choose something that we are able to reason instead of the correct one? Wow, because we're not sure how to explain the correct one. Wait, correct review. Open, close, code. Reason? Yeah, you should definitely choose something you're able to reason instead of the correct one. What do you mean? Do you want to explain this part? Like, is it the one that you are more familiar with?
Yeah.
WomenWhoCode.
Like this one, you said, for example, if the answer should be NoSQL, but you're more familiar with the SQL one, yeah. So should you choose like the one that you are able to explain more, or the actual correct one?
Right. You see, Joyce did a very good point. Yeah, Joyce.
Okay, so regarding that, right, I guess I would say that if you are comfortable with what you have chosen, then don't try to go beyond something that you feel that is the correct one, because definitely this is a system design interview. There'll be room for discussion. And then, for example, if you like, for example, the interviewee say, okay, for example, we don't know about relational and non-relational, like no SQL, what's the difference between it? Then you try to say about no SQL, but then you have no context about it. Then when the interview asks you about it, then you'll be like, oh no, how do I explain it? So in a sense that what you can say that in this event is that, okay, I heard about this technology, but then I'm not very familiar with it. But what I heard is this, like you can list down the reasons of what you have heard. then after that, at least let the interviewers be like, oh, okay, this candidate doesn't know about it, but this candidate try her best on it. Yeah.
Yes.
That's all.
There's no correct one. It's just how much you can support your reasoning. And yeah, it's a very good point. Oh, I see another question. Oh, are you okay with the answer?
Yes,
Were you?
thanks.
Yeah, I think Joyce also did a lot of not did a lot, but I think she's very how do I say it? Not straightforward, truthful. Like if she's not aware of the thing that I asked, she will say she's not familiar, and then she'll say everything that she knows. So that's totally fine, because we're not Google. We don't have all the knowledge here, and then cannot. I think the point of discussion interview, system design interview, is to actually converse as well, because everything is a discussion. You want to see whether you can reason yourself, you can take in hints from the interviewer. You can also like discuss and see which is the best solution. Normally, the interviewer will help you go towards the right path. For system design interview, should we prepare knowledge like how to replicate across database, like leader, follower, strategy? Very good question, Saloni. Yes, you should totally prepare knowledge on all of this. And just if you mention it, yeah, just now we didn't go through this, but whenever we're rehearsing, we actually talk about it on how we can have a master database, static database to just to improve the performance, because when you write the database, will actually like block the database from being read, and then to improve that, you can have replicas. And it really depends if the interviewer catch it, or sometimes he thinks that, okay, you say this, you actually show a very good knowledge of that. There's no point of me asking more, because you already, I feel that you already know. So unless you don't show or there's some missing gap that the interviewer want to know more, that he or she may ask more details, like how does it work, how many ways to scale, not just this. It'll go more in depth. So always be ready, and then but there's so many things we can't possibly remember or do, and then we can't be like what Joyce say, we can't be experienced in all of them. So just try to prepare as many tips, tricks, solutions you can, because I think system design is kind of a it's standardized, right? Like they got all these, you just have to know them and then tell them, and then if the interviewer asks, you just say more, right? So is the knowledge for system design interview something that can be learned on the job? How to expand knowledge on SD, system design?
Maybe I can give some inputs for that. So I would say it is something that you will learn on the job as you get to familiarize with your software that you are building. So even though like we are like building software as software engineer, we are building software on a day-to-day basis, we will come across the time that we need to decide, like for example, what kind of technology we should use, why we should use them. So actually this is like indirectly we are actually doing a system design on the job. So I would say that it is something that you can, it is not very, I would say you don't see architecture every day, but in a sense that you will get to experience it on your day-to-day job when you're trying to code, when you're trying to develop something. Yeah. Then how to expand your knowledge of system design. You can read books if you are interested in books, or else maybe you can watch videos which is related to system designs. I think they are quite helpful in terms of it. Or you just chit chat with your colleagues actually, like, hey, well, how come you use this architecture? How come you choose this particular technology? If those that are very enthusiastic, they will share with you about it, and then you get to learn as well. Yeah.
Yes, I asked my colleagues, I asked Joyce so many times on so many questions, so many things, and she answered so well. And also, I can attend this session, InterviewReady. we go through all the questions. We're starting to do more. And I think Saloni pays a very good article to revise. There's a lot of, thank you. There's a lot of resources online. YouTube, you can just Google system design. You can see them going through like what we are doing right now and even more detailed and cover all the cases. Like I actually watch a few, it's like, wow, so much. And also, I think there's this thing called Prem. Share. You can actually just do mock system design interview with strangers. So for example, you can just like book a session. I think it's free, and then they will just give you questions, and you need to ask the person. The person will ask you back. And then you can just practice your system design over and over again. So this is a really good way to practice. Practice makes perfect. Is there any more questions that I missed? Violin, is that good? Thank you for sharing. Anyone? Oh, sorry, I shouted. Any more questions? I think Joyce did a really good job.
I think Anne did a good job too. Yeah.
And I love the background noise. It's not background, like the white background, which is the bird chirping. It's nicer than the bee. Oh, some sharing from Monique, AWS Cloud Practitioner certificate also teaches a lot about SD components, system design components. I keep seeing SD as sequence diagram because I'm drawing sequence diagram now. And I'm like, oh, triggered. Yeah. It's a very good point. So it's 7:28. We have a good lot of questions. Thank you. And any more questions? Do you want us to continue chit-chatting, asking, or we can wrap up? I'm tasked to tell all of you to join our social media. We have Telegram, Twitter, Discord, Instagram. Okay, I'll be more active over there as well. Ask us questions. If you like today's session, if you want to see more, if you want, oh, this is like a YouTube channel, right? If you like to see more, click here to subscribe. If you want to see something similar or have more of this, like do let us know, or something else. We have behavior interviews previously. I think the next one is front-end interview. All of this coming up. So there. Okay, let me share my screen again. So hashtag WWCode InterviewReady. Use this hashtag if you have questions, posts related to today's session. And then, okay, one more question. I actually wanted a session where participants can pair up in order to do the same mock interview type. I think this is a very good suggestion. Saloni, are you hearing this? Our director at WomenWhoCode, she actually started this whole series, which is really awesome. And I think this is good. Like we can just pick one of you up to answer a question for us. Not answer a question for us, but to do a mock interview. I think that's fun. I mean, there's only so many things. I think keep these suggestions coming through all these sessions. Social media that I mentioned, join us, and then we hope to see you around. Thank you so much, Joyce, for this wonderful session. I'm sorry for requesting you to change here and there. We just new tech problem. Yeah, it's very interesting. I enjoy. Oh, yeah. There's a data science session coming up by Monique. You're March 30th. You want to grab their attention and say something? Otherwise,
No, sorry, I
follow
had
the
to
link.
find the chat window first and close it. But yes, March 30th, we'll do an interview ready series focused on how do you interview for a role for data scientists. So if anyone's interested, please join then and invite your friends to join too. I hope it will be interesting for everyone.
Yeah, look forward to that next sessions. There's so many sessions, very cool events coming up. Thank you. And thank you, Joyce. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next one. Bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, close this.